Coach Damiano, what role do you think adults play in encouraging the youth not to drink and drive?
I think adults play a very impacting role when it comes to encouraging youths not to drink and drive. I think you have to have conversations with kids about the dangers and the effects of drinking and driving. You can't just assume people know things. But, more than just conversating, kids follow examples. So I think it's particularly important for the predominant adults in their lives, their parents, their guardians, their relatives, to set the example that drinking and driving it's not okay.
Drinking and driving, I think the two don't mix. Drinking inhibits your decision making. Driving, you've got a lot going on that you manage constantly, and you need to be able to make decisions in a split second. And if you're drinking, it inhibits your ability to be able to do that effectively.
How do you encourage students to make wise decisions?
I think we try to encourage our student athletes and students in general to make wise decisions, hopefully on a daily basis, primarily for themselves, first and foremost, because their life is precious. I know we try to encourage our athletes, our student athletes, not to drink and drive because their decisions affect other people. And so, deciding to drink and drive and then suffering the consequences of those things, it affects, it's a domino effect. It affects the people that are around them, directly, and then the people that are connected to them. And so, some small decision that may be made at a party, to have some drinks and then get behind the wheel and drive, and then ultimately that ends tragically, that affects, other people, and it affects what they were put on this earth to do eventually, I think, and it kind of robs people of the gifts and talents that they are supposed to bring to the table. The last way that we try to encourage is, through experiences. Unfortunately, and unfortunately, those are tragic usually. You try to point to experiences that have happened to other teenagers or other adults that have made poor choices to mix the two, drinking and driving. And so, we try to use those as encouraging factors as well, even though it's kind of tragic and to be able to do those.
What advice do you have for those students attending college in the fall? What should they be aware of?
So I think most kids attending college view college as freedom, right? Freedom from parents, freedom from rules, freedom from nagging teachers. But you got to go with the old, quote, with freedom comes responsibility. You can go where you want, you can do what you want, you can stay out as long as you want, but now you don't have anyone warning you, anyone advising you, anyone waking you up in the morning, packing your lunches, doing all of that stuff. And so if you're going to make decisions like that, you have to be prepared for the consequences. The consequence of not making it to class on time and getting kicked out of school, or simply just being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Since prom season is notorious for underage drinking, do you have anything you'd like to express to the students who will be attending prom?
Yeah, I think the biggest message that we try to send is just be yourself. You're unique, you got special gifts and talents that you bring to this world, and you have a plan that's bigger and greater than what is defined in high school and defined at prom, and people need you to do what you're supposed to do. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, politicians. We need those people, and we need your gifts and talents. And it's always unfortunate when we lose somebody to drinking and driving. Just be yourself. Enjoy this time that you have with each other, with the friends that you've made at this point in your life. And because it does go by fast, and remember those good moments and cherish those moments for the rest of your life as you go into that new chapter. And don't fall into that trap of drinking gives the illusion of a certain lifestyle, or can kind of change how you perceive yourself. And you don't need to change who you are. Just be who you are. And I know the alcohol, if you fall into that, allows you to that illusion of becoming someone different and making choices that you probably normally wouldn't make. And the consequences, of making those choices and involving drinking and driving, they can be fatal. And you've only got one shot to live this life, and this is a moment in that time in your life that you need to enjoy, and don't let alcohol wreck your life.
So there seems to be some sort of unwritten rule. It has to be the most epic night of someone's life, and a lot of kids think that the only way to make that, that night memorable is to drink. But it's a dance. you're supposed to get dressed up, you're supposed to go out to dinner, you're supposed to have a good time, and that should really be the focal point. There's not going to be a whole lot of times in your life that you're going to have this occasion to get all fancy dressed up and to be able to do that. And if you choose to go out and get drunk, then you may not even remember your prom. And later on in life, you're going to look back and you're not even going to have those memories. And high school memories are precious. I know a lot of people don't believe that, but at some point you're going to look back and wish you had that memory. And you have your whole life to choose to drink or to not choose to drink. And so, one night is just not worth the potential consequences. Hurting yourself, hurting someone else, getting caught. None of that is worth the rest of your life.